Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Chaturtyodhyayaha Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogaha. That's the name of the chapter, chapter 4. We have completed verse number 28. What are the various types of yajnas? Before we go into what are the various types of yajnas, let's quickly recall. We have pursuits. Those pursuits are grouped under what is called Purushartha. Purushartha, Artha, Kama, Dharma. On the one side, Moksha on the other side. Moksha is called Parama Purushartha. All these Purusharthas ultimately lead to the Parama Purushartha. That is Moksha. Moksha alone is the objective. All other objectives are incidental. To understand this is a process of jnanam, knowledge. And knowledge takes place in the antakarana, Shuddha antakarana. The Shuddha antakarana, which is preoccupied with Artha and Kama, has to find a value for moksha, has to understand that moksha is what that one is really seeking. And for that, you need jnana yogyata prapti. In chapter 2, Krishna says jnana prapti. And for you to have jnana, you need jnana yogyata. You have to know something. When you have to know something, you have to be eligible to know that something. You have to have an appropriate preparation to know that. And in this chapter in particular, Arjun was given this knowledge that you actually do not need to do anything at all to discover the happy person in you. So suppose I tell you, you don't have to do anything to be happy in life. What's the first thing we'll do? Avoid all those actions which are difficult. That's what Arjuna wanted to do. He wanted to run away from responsibilities. So Krishna, the teacher, says running away from responsibilities does not solve your problem. In fact, it adds to it exacerbates the problem. It adds to the problem. You have to understand that kartritva, the doer of the action, okay, is actually not me. Hey, kya baat hai? I am doing something. I am not doer of the action. Yeah, the teacher says, look at yourself as though you are acting in a play. You are playing a role. And while playing the role, this role has to do certain actions. Like Bhagat Singh, for instance. No? He has to play the role of Bhagat Singh. In the last scene, he has to be put on the gallows. Imagine, you're playing the role of Bhagat Singh. You're playing the role of Bhagat Singh on stage or in the movie. How happily would you go on stage, on the gallows? The director will say, you have to kiss the nose, sing a song, hug your two other colleagues, Sukhdev and Rajguru. And when they come to bind your eyes, you'll say, no, I want to keep my eyes open. Why does a person is prepared to go through death? Knowing fully well that he is not going through any pain. It's actually the role. The role's problem is different from my problem. The role's body is my body. The role's neck is my neck. But yet there is a cognitive distance. There is a distance between the role's problems and my problems. That is called cognitive distance. This is a role, a drama on stage. The teacher says, suppose you are able to bring this into play, be aware of the realities and bring it into your day-to-day life. You are playing roles: father, mother, husband, wife, brother, sister, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, mother. So many roles. All the mothers come and say, my daughter is facing kit from her mother-in-law. All the mothers of the daughters says. The same mother is perhaps a mother-in-law, and daughter of another person will say, my mother-in-law is kit. This is the reality. So when you play the role of mother, you are perfectly understanding. When you play the role of the mother-in-law, why this kit comes? That's because of lack of role clarity. Role clarity. The mother's role and the mother-in-law's role are enmeshed. I have brought up my daughter so well. Your mother has not brought you up so well. It faces daily. What kind of upbringing your mother has given you? Suppose the same question asked of you, what will happen? That's a problem. Somebody criticizes me. I criticize him back, it becomes an international issue. Yeah, I just can't understand. Rule problem. So role clarity is required. Okay? And role clarity comes from preparation of the antakarana. The antakarana, the buddhi has to be prepared. The instrument of knowing has to be prepared. Jnana prapti has to be preceded by jnana yogyata prapti. So in this chapter in particular, the teacher says, sannyasa is not in the action. Sannyasa is not avoiding action. That is karma sannyasa. Karma sannyasa is not possible. You cannot give up action. But you can understand. In jnana, you can actually understand that there are certain role responsibilities which have to be fulfilled. Those role responsibilities will involve decisions, outcomes, pleasant, unpleasant. This is the reality. Sachai ka samna, facing the realities of the role. You have to face the realities of the role. And when you face the realities of the role, what happens to you? You are free from MBBS. If role clarity is not there, you are MBBS. What is this MBBS? Miserable, burdensome, boring struggle of a life. Struggle. When will I get moksha, Ishvara? What moksha do you want? When will get I free from all this? What freedom you want? When will this all end? It will never end. It will never end. One set of responsibility will be replaced by another set of responsibilities. No responsibility will end. In सबसे मुक्ति कब मिलेगी? All of us once and once we see running away and staying in an ashram, as though and creating problems for that ashram person. All this doesn't work that way. It needs cognitive understanding. And the teacher says the preparation involves various kind of yajna. What is this yajna? Yajna is, like I told you a couple of weeks ago about the traditional Vedic yajna, there is a havan kunda. Depending upon what havan you are doing, the size will be according to that. There will be some dravya. There will be some instruments. There will be a karta. There will be an acharya. There will be a hota. There will be a ritvik. There will be a devata. The Agni has to be We don't lighten Agni. We invoke Agni Devata. It follows a certain process. So all that were enshrined are given in the first portion of the Vedas. We cannot study Vedanta without understanding the first portion of the Veda. The first portion is called Karma Kanda. The second portion is called the Jnana Kanda. You cannot understand Jnana Kanda without understanding Karma Kanda. Okay? In fact, there is a what do you call a logic? Nyaya. They say Ardha Anda Nyaya. So there is a fellow who says, I have an egg. Half an egg I will make omelette. Another half I will keep it aside for hatching a chicken. Is it possible? Ardha Anda Nyaya. The whole egg has to be used as it is. If you make an egg, like egg, you can make an omelette, means you can't have eggs. You can't have chicken out of it. So you must take the whole Vedas. You can't say one portion I will leave, I will only study Vedanta. Then neither this will work, nor that will work. So this certain verses in this chapter highlight understanding of Vedic rituals and how Vedic rituals can be related to our daily ritual, because our life has undergone a big change. There were times when one section of the community's only job was to do Vedic ritual. They used to chant. Chanting is not done at home. Chanting is done near on the banks of the river. That's where teaching is done. The Havan is done at home. And the entire family consumes the prasada from the Havan. And the community contributes to the doing of the Havan. There are Havan for community welfare, there are Havan for individual welfare, family welfare, welfare of the king. So many things are there. Lots and lots of things happen. So we have to understand this carefully. So towards this, the teacher has so far taken us through certain Havan, certain rituals. Okay. So one was called Dravya Yajna. Dravya Yajna means, see, Artha. You have developed a lot of possession. This is a possession. This is a possession. So the instrument I'm talking through is a possession. Phone is a possession. The books are possession. My pens are possession. I've become something like a person who has accumulated a lot of material. My degrees, my titles, awards, all framed, possessions. And through them, I feel good. Not only by looking at them, others should also come and look at them. Suppose you come to my house and I have a huge display in which I have put cup, so many cups. You come, sit there and you look at them and turn away. You know how miserable I feel. So many cups are there, you not recognized. This is by this club, this is by this club, this is given by the President of India. I got this in France. I got this in Italy. So my emotional well-being is hooked on these possessions, packages, labels. Now, dravya. When I give them away mentally. Giving away means I don't have to call and give it to the Raddiwala. Who is going to buy all your cups anyway? Sorry. It doesn't mean I have to physically give. There are certain objects I give away physically, but many of these things which I keep in the house need not be given away physically. I can also feel happy about it. Yeah, I got this. But if you are going to spend your emotion, if you are going to peg your emotional well-being on your trophies and all these labels with pictures that you took it so and so and so and so and so and so. These days you have a, what do you call it, a platform in which this fellow gets photographed with somebody and he will count the number of likes. And if he doesn't see the number of likes, sufficient number of likes, This fellow is not happy. Nobody likes people. And then his conclusion is people are jealous because I took photograph with a celebrity. And then a fellow wants recognition that people have read his writing. So this is also started. So they will put a post. I want to know actually how many people have read my post. So if you really are my friend and if you have read my post, you have to copy and paste it on your wall, not share it. And then put a like here and write a comment about me. I will then go to your wall and write a comment. Now, one person I didn't post. I didn't respond. But they said, if you're not willing to copy and paste, don't post a like or just put a comment. I didn't put it. The person calls me. I am such a good friend of yours, know you for so long. You did not think fit to acknowledge. I said, you only said, no, if you're not willing to copy and paste, don't recognize. I said, I'm not willing to copy and paste all this. If copy, pasting, liking, and putting a comment is going to determine how much I like you or I'm friendly with you or care for you, then I think we've got all our priorities wrong. So if I'm going to emotionally be hooked up to all this, I'm going to have a problem. So what is jnana karma sannyasa? I don't have to give away recognitions. I don't have to give away my trophies. I just have to unpeg my emotional welfare from these trophies. I got it. Ishvara Prasada. Did not get it. Ishvara Prasada. Someone comes and says, oh my God, how many you've got? Ishvara Prasada. Another fellow doesn't even look at them. Ishvara Prasada. Another fellow goes also, we must have purchased all these things. Ishvara. My emotional being does not depend upon what I put on my display. Either it's my display board or my children's display. Hey, this my daughter once she was 3 years old. This my daughter sang music competition and won. This is her sports achievement. There's this achievement. See, we have taken photographs. So people recognize, fine. If they don't recognize, fine. Doesn't matter. My emotional being is, my well-being is not hooked on to all this. Okay, so the teacher talked about all this and he mentioned Dravya Yajna. Dravya Yajna is apart from mentally unhooking from things, from packages, from labels, apart from mentally unhooking, can I also give away valuable objects to people? Dravya. What can be given? So many things can be given. The Vedic culture, the background of the Vedic culture has suggested you can give things which people use. So you can give paduka, you can give chhatri, you can give vastra, you can either give annadanam or you can give ingredients for cooking. Along with each one of them, there is a dakshina also given. The society does not have to struggle for a living. The society is a naturally contributing society and not a grabbing society. This naturally contributing society, when it becomes a grabbing consumer society, you have created objects which you don't really need, but the need is created here by various advertisements. I don't tire of telling this. I don't tire of telling this because the sales have now come down even today. I don't want to close down the company. So they have created a complex. What is that complex? You are dark-skinned. And if you are dark-skinned, and if you're a lady, your chances of getting married are less. You should become fair. And they will give you an advertisement. This boy looked at you and rejected you. After 6 months, he says, "Arey, ye pari kaun hai?" And you have bought a tube. And the tube made you fair and lovely. And you are fit for life. See, you've created that unless I am fair and unless I use this, for which you are willing to fight with your parents also, then they found, see, look at the world market. India's population, 1% buys this, their company will run for 10 years. India should realize its potential, either in buddhi or in the market. We are somebody. So they came and said, even a man must look. Therefore, if you don't have hair, it's a problem. Therefore, you must have hair. If the shape of your nose is not okay, then that is not okay. You should have a shape of your nose. If your skin is sagging, it is not okay. You do this, do that. So many things will come. Cashing in on your not feeling at home with yourself. Let's understand something here. Raga, dvesha, loosely translated as likes and dislikes, are perfectly okay. My raga, dvesha define me. My raga, dvesha define me. Right from what I want to eat, or how I like my setup, or what I like on my screen, and what kind of screensaver I want, and things like that. I have my raga, dvesha defined. It makes a personality. But if the raga dvesha is going to create a pressure inside, meaning unless I fulfill that raga, I am not going to be at home. I must have this, I must have this, I must have the latest version. If I can't buy it, put pressure on somebody to give it. I must have the latest version. Why? It's in thing, makes me feel good about the whole thing. I become acceptable by getting I become acceptable to myself by getting a latest gadget. So through this yajna process, I learned to detach myself from objects. Objects, yes, I like them. There are certain objects I don't like. You would like to give away objects I don't like. Not to give away objects you like. And give objects to people. It's called dhanam. So it's called dravya yajnam. And it is not giving away, saying that you put your name that I donated so much and things like that. You may give me a plaque and you give me one more trophy which I can keep in my house. There's a club which once called me. They said, we would like to give you an award. I said, "Theek hai, de dijiye." And they said, can you donate a lakh of rupees? I said, that's a buying an award, no? I said, why should I pay you to give me an award? No. You are so influential. If you can get 3-4 people to donate it, we will give you the award. Ye kya award? You want me to buy an award? I don't know why. And then you will keep it at home. Somebody gives you an award, he gives a picture, he was given this award. And how long? I don't know. I don't know. Some people get it. So yajna is, when you do the yajna, you will offer this object, it is called oblation, into the fire with the words idam na mama, and it is reduced to ashes. Meaning, this is no longer mine. I do not expect anything in return, and the expectation is reduced to ashes. I have given it away. I don't want anything in return. Some people say, I don't want, but what you give, I will take. Ye kya baat? Fooling yourself and fooling others. I don't want. Idam na mama, I've given it to you. And it's valuable. What is the valuable thing? Ajya, ghee. That's what you offer into the fire. Harvest, freshly cooked rice. Good quality vastra. Sometimes abharana, gold. But the gold doesn't get reduced to ashes. After that, they will search it out and take it. So you give all that into the fire. It is called Dravya Yajna. Oh yes, then what other yajna is there? Okay, Tapo Yajna. Okay, as though you're offering certain actions of yourself into the fire, you do tapas. Tapas means stretching yourself physically, mentally. Ekadashi, today is an Ekadashi. It's a small tapas. Stretch yourself to have one meal less today. Just one meal less. Don't eat rice. Have some. But suppose from the morning you are thinking Rama, 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 at the evening I will have a suji ka halwa, better eat. Suji ka halwa, better eat in the morning, no problem. So that's called tapo yajna. Stretch yourself a little bit. Tapo yajna. So dravya yajna, tapo, yoga yajna. Yoga yajna is doing certain karma, proper karma. Like in the in the Gurudwara, they have Kar Seva. Kar Seva is what? Yoga yajna. You go there, clean the temple, clean the visitors' paduka, wash vessels, serve in the langar, help in cooking. There are so many institutions which say, I want help, and we are prepared to send a donation. They say, no, we don't want money. We want you to physically come and help us. Physically come and help us. Are you willing to do that? Okay, that is yoga yajna. Tatha pare means people can do, others can do. It means you yourself can do. You can do Dravya yajna, you can do Tapo yajna, you can do Yoga yajna. Okay, you can do Yoga yajna. It doesn't mean that if you do this, you need not do that. There are some people who do concentrate on this, but you can do all of them. It's like studying in a lower class, going into a higher class, higher class, higher class. You can do all the yajnas. Then comes the second line, Swadhyaya yajna. What is Swadhyaya yajna? I will study Vedas. I will study Prakaranaganta. I will study Vishnu Purana. Why not any other subject? No. Then it's not called Adhyaya. Adhyaya means Buddhi is involved. It should make a transformation to you as a person. It is not just studying a subject. That's also, I can call it that. Somebody says, I've done work, I would like to upskill myself. That's a good action. But when the teacher is talking about Swadhyaya here means studying something, working towards betterment of human life, betterment of my life, understanding myself, understanding my pursuit better, but understanding and working for, I want to learn to chant these Vedas and things like that. Swadhyaya yajna. Okay. Then comes the next one, Jnana yajna. So Swadhyaya is learning, Jnana is teaching. Swadhyaya pravachanecha. Learn and teach. Swadhyaya yajna. Yeah. Okay. Jnana yajna, yatayaha. Who is a yataya? Yataya is a person. Yataya kaun hai? Apare dravya yajna tata tapo yajna. Okay, yoga yajna. Samshrita vrita yataya. Yataya means yagyashil purush. A person who strives, who works mindfully, dedicatedly. Samshrita. Samshrita, yeah, there's a very beautiful word there. Samshrita vrita, sharpened, honed. A lovely word. Samshrita vrita. Through these yajnas, I have become emotionally mature. I've grown into an emotionally mature person. I've grown as a person. I've grown. I play all my roles. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better human being. I'm a better person. I have values for non-hurt. a value for discipline. All this comes natural to me, spontaneously to me. I don't hurt. The first thing about a samshita vrata is volume of speaking will come down. First thing you see. आप कैसे हैं? अच्छे हैं. Hello. Some people, and especially when they see this instrument, they talk. Sometimes you get even, sometimes all of us do. It's not that I'm pontificating. Sometimes we talk. And they say, are you talking from the phone to somebody in Delhi, or are you talking directly to Delhi, shouting it out there? So first thing you will see is a certain, it is called, vinaya, a certain dignity in your actions, dignity in your response, a refinement in your response. Such a person is a yataya. And his sharpened samshita vrataha. And this person has done a lot of swadhyaya, a lot of jnana yajna. The person, a refined, dignified person. This is what happens to you, even if you don't get Brahma Vidya. It doesn't matter. I once read, was a great footballer, born in the country called Brazil. His name was Pele. Came from the slums and became a world-class footballer. In his autobiography, he writes, for you to become a footballer, you have to be a top-class athlete. And for you to become an athlete, you have to be a very, very disciplined person. If after all this, you neither become an athlete or nor become a footballer, never mind. You have become a disciplined person. Good for you, good for the family, good for the society, good for the country. What a beautiful thing. I think you must have read this verse. So such a person, okay, this verse talks about such a person, okay. So having talked about this in verse number 28, the teacher takes you to verse number 29. So he says, now he takes you inside, self-discipline. Apane juhvati pranam, pranopanam tatha pare. Apane juhvati pranam, pranopanam tatha pare. Prana pranagatim gati ruddhva, pranayama parayanaha. Apane juhvati pranam, pranopanam tatha pare. Pranapanagati ruddhva, pranayama parayanaha. There are, 5 vayus inside. There's pranavayu, apanavayu, samanavayu, dhyanavayu, udanavayu. So the vayu inside is called prana. So they talked about a healing, pranic healing. Meaning what? Creates a certain pleased disposition in you, disposition in which the person as though passes energy from outside into you, creates the right kind of balance so that you heal yourself. Okay. I don't want to go into all that, what happens. Become an industry. So, pranavayu, apanavayu, all these vayus have a role to play. Prana, prana. There is an apanavayu. Apanavayu is used for malatyaga. Apanavayu is used for malatyaga. Dhyana samayavayu is taking for digestion and distribution. Udanavayu is for reverse ejaculation. Coming out. Prana thrown out. So these vayus, when you say offered into the other, quite simply means you are aware of the function of this prana, of these vayus. You become mindful of the involuntary action that takes place within you, physiological actions taken place without you, without the involvement of your will, without you being even awake. Khana kha ke, so gaye, goes on, pranavayu goes on. If it doesn't come, they will say prana, poch. They say in Tamil, prana, poch. It's gone. Then you are no longer referred to as a person. So it's a certain awareness. Not everything is your action. This person talks about giving up action. No? So Krishna says, what will you give up, man? What are you talking about giving up? You will give up your prana, breathing. Forget breathing. Will you give up apana? You think what will happen to the world around? Who will sit next to you? Apana vayu will give up. Udana vayu will give up. What will you give up? It is recognizing the involuntary actions which happen, the physiological actions happen within you. Verse number 29. Let's go to verse number 30, a very important section. All of them are important. When I say very important, don't take it that the earlier one is any less important. Apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juhvati. Apare niyataharaha pranan praneshu juhvati. Sarve pete yajya vidavido. Sarve pete yajya vidaha. Yagyakshapita kalmashaha. Yagyakshapita kalmashaha. Whole verse. Apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juhvati. Sarve pyete yajya vidaha. Yagyakshapita kalmashaha. Kalmashaha. Apane. So we go to apare. Apare means others. It doesn't mean that, you can do all this. Don't say some people do this, some people do. That's not a proper translation. You can do this yourself. In addition, ahara niyata. This is meant, they say, if this is managed properly, physical health, mental health, relationships will all fall in place. Bak or chomp chomp. If any of these two activities are managed, bak or chomp chomp, your relationships will improve, your health will improve. Okay, it happens. Some people cannot manage this. One fellow was told, there is a diet chart. He looked at it and said, before meal or after meal? No, this is a meal. He said, no, sir. Rakhiye, sir. It doesn't work. So, niyata, ahara, ahara. Niyata. The Vedic culture talks very elaborately about ahara. Very elaborately. Oh my God, huge volumes are there. And Krishna has put it here. Niyata ahara. So let's look at what is niyata ahara. There is something called first Hita book. Hita, what is good for you? Eat what is good for you. Hita book. Then there is a Kala book. There is a time for eating. There is a Desha book. Time for, place for eating. Hita book, Kala book, Desha book. So there was a time, and then there are certain other things. Sthala Shuddhi, Patra Shuddhi, Panipada Shuddhi. Okay. Put water around, moist. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, vyadaya swaha, udanaya swaha. All of them function because of Brahmane swaha. Then you start eating. While eating, maunam. Maunam. Maunam doesn't mean not. There are some people, I have seen some people. They say, I'm maunam. But sometimes we feel he better talk. He wants, he's eating. He wants more pickle. How will he ask? Here, kya baat hai drama? Why do you do all this? Water chahiye. You better speak, I create problems for others. Actually, I've seen this happen. Okay? I'm not imagining this. Modulation is different, but I've seen this happen. So, Some people follow Maunam. Maunam means not seeing WhatsApp also during these days. All of us are in the dining table. What do you want for food? Tair. What do you want for this? I want pork pickle. You're not supposed to see WhatsApp. You're not supposed to read. Desha book. You are not supposed to sit on the bed and eat. So many people are watching TV, holding food in the hand. Blah, 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 blah. What you are eating, God alone knows. If anything is served, you will eat. Desha book. You are not supposed to watch TV and eat. You are not supposed to sit on the bed and eat. You are not supposed to take things into the loo and eat. That has to somehow, some kind of hygiene is still there. Maybe that will go away after some time. There is a Desha book. There is a call. What time will you eat? These are the people working from what? 12 in the afternoon to 12 midnight. I found some of them with chomp, eating at 1:30, eating food. I said, what are you doing? Dinner. I said, you call this dinner? Then when will you sleep? When will you eat breakfast? Desha book, Kala, Hita book. You should eat properly. What is Hita book? 50% food, 25% water, 25% khali. You are supposed to eat only 50% of your capacity. Not up to this and So they say, in Tamil they say, what I ate starts coming out of my nose. Okay, my teacher compared this eating to your grinder. At home you have grinder. Imagine you filled a grinder right up to the neck for grinding, for your making dosa, idli or whatever. Will the grinder work? No. Half capacity, then some water, and then empty space. Once in a while, then it is ground to a proper fine dough, of which you can make idli, dosa, appam, whatever. In the same way, if you don't do that, you'll have to roll on the floor. So there is an ahara discipline. What you eat. This okay to mention. I'm just mentioning. Vegetarian is called ahara. Vegetarianism is called ahara. Food is grains. Eating non-grains animal is called animal, bird, fish, whatever. It's not called food, it's called meal. So, niyata ahara, by choice, I adopt vegetarianism. Now, suppose you are a Kshatriya on the war field and all. You can't be a vegetarian Kshatriya. So, they are So, again, there is a Desha, Kala, Patra, depending upon. But I don't eat for what? Some people say, they come and tell you, if you don't eat this, how will you get energy? Many I've heard this. Some non-vegetarians are not willing to marry vegetarians. If I come to your house, get married and come to your house, you won't give me. I'll have to go outside and eat. But I have no comment on. They say, India is a culture in which you have communities which follow vegetarianism. There is a Bombay, there is a street which is full of Jains. McDonald's could not put up a shop. I've known certain clubs which go by an international brand, run by Jains. They say no alcohol, no meat in my club. Only vegetarians are members of clubs. Nobody says you can't do that. Niyata ahara. Vegetarianism is called, sattvic ahara. Eating meat, etc. is called rajasic ahara. Eating a rancid food is called tamasic ahara. Cook on Monday, put it in the freezer, heat, reheat, heat is tamasic ahara. Vedanta will not click in your brain. It will not come. In this Janma, it will not come. Very clear. Tamasic ahara. They say you're not even supposed to eat the food that was cooked in the morning. Then what? Some people told me, oh, there is a food chain. Why do you waste all this? I said, why do you cook so much? Why do you cook so much? Just because you have cooked extra without consulting me, you have to eat it. There is a proper system for disposal of all this. In those days, in the backyard of the house, they used to bury it, return it back to nature. Because it's not wasting. Wasting food is flushing it down the drain. Or giving it to people who won't, you won't eat, so you give it to the fellows like that. There are some people who take. But niyata ahara, discipline in food. Let me tell you some more. In that, how we can, it's very important to relate. I'm not giving it to you just for information. We have to learn to relate to it also. If you cannot relate to it, let's not waste time. We have to relate to it. Those days, Vedic days, you have to sit on the floor and eat. Sit in Ardha Padmasana. Ladies sit in folded Padmasana and eat. The food is to be served, not self-served. Water is to be served, and the water cup has to be on your right side. It should be on your right side. And party must be. So, later. Nipo, I'll give you later. Okay? Go, take. So, you are supposed to sit on the floor and eat. Sit on an asana. The place has to be cleaned by what is called a broom made out of fig twigs, not out of routine jharu, fig twigs. Okay. And then you have to sit on and eat on a plantain leaf. Sit on the asana, eat on a plantain leaf. It is to be served, eaten, and eaten at proper times. So these days, people have forgotten the art of sitting on the floor and eating. Never mind, eat on the. So there is something called sthala shuddhi. There is something called patra shuddhi. Atma shuddhi. Can we follow it in our daily lives? Yes. We will not eat together at the dining table. The family that eats together stays together. The family that prays together stays together. The family does that yajna together permanently stays together. Can we eat at the dining table? Kuch bhi ho jaye. Your earth shaking. Your one decision makes $100 million for somebody. Tell those fellows 10 minutes I will eat with my family and come. There's no loss. There are people who say, I'm prayer time. I can't come on the conference call. Why can't you do that? Eat together. Sthala shuddhi. Let the dining table be clean. Let your plates be clean. Let the food be clean. Personally, never eat without having a bath. Don't eat standing up, sitting down, munching something. Anna is Annapurna Devi. Kiva. That is yajna. When I say niyata ahara, I say this is Devi. This food goes inside me, nourishes my physical body, nourishes the physiological body. You talked about pancha prana. That pancha prana are nourished by this food. When you eat proper food, it stimulates your antakarna. Try eating, try. In Bengal, we say something called panta bhat. Panta bhat means yesterday, right, soaked in water. This morning you eat. Yesterday cooked rice, this morning, soaked in water, next morning you eat. And add to it. And these fellows will give a taste for that. They will say, mix it with dahi made out of buffalo milk, dahi. And I have some mango pickles. Oh my God. And what will it do to you? Kumbhakarna ka baap bana dega aapko. It is called tamasic food. It should stimulate you. After eating the food, maybe you should rest for a while, I don't know. But your food should take you into inquiry, should take you to Atma Vichara. It might take you into Pariksha Loka. That's what food is meant for. It's supposed to nourish your physical, emotional, spiritual health. Niyata ahara pranan praneshu juhvati. The food is offered to the prana, apana, panchavayu. And sarve piyete, all of them sarve, ete, all this. How do you do? Yajna vidaha. One who understands this as a process of yajna. One who also understands those rituals and also understands how to implement the spirit of the yajna in my day-to-day life. He is a yajna vida. Okay, yajna vidaha. Okay, and what happens to such people? Okay, yajna shapita kalmashaha. Kalmasha means impurities. In the yajna, the impurities become bhasma. How do you relate it to your personal life? I offer my indisciplined eating habits into the fire of disciplined eating habits. I offer my indisciplined other habits. I wouldn't like to use the word indiscipline. I would offer some kind of casual, kind of mindless living and going along into a lifestyle which talks about discipline. I bring discipline into my lifestyle. When I bring discipline into my lifestyle, together person, a lovely action, I become. If I don't bring lifestyle, I'm a scattered person. And together as a person, my thinking is proper, my speaking is proper, my conduct is proper. I don't get into problems. I know how to face attacks. I don't have to say something and then go apologize and say, sorry, I didn't mean it. There's so many ways. This could have been handled so beautifully. I wish I was on that forum. But I handle it so beautifully. Okay? So, it is an offering. I offer my indisciplined lifestyle into my disciplined lifestyle. Okay? Wonderful. These are all great verses. Okay, now let's look at verse number. I'm going to take you to verse number 31. And 30, up to 34, I thought I'd take you to. There has not been a hurry. There are 42 verses to be completed, but no need to hurry. There is no hurry to. I don't have to do yajna to complete things today. Let's look at verse number. So far, understanding the process of yajna, food as yajna, eating itself as a yajna, cooking as a yajna, discipline eating as yajna, lifestyle as yajna. So verse number 31 says, Yajna sishtamrita bhujaha, Yajna sishtamrita bhujaha, Yanti brahma sanatanam, Yanti brahma sanatanam, Yanti brahma sanatanam. Whole verse. Yajna sishtamrita bhujaha, Yanti brahma sanatanam, Nayam lokastya yajnasya, Nayam lokotya yajnasya, Kutonyak kuru sattama, Kutonyak kuru sattama. Whole verse. Yajna sishtamrita bhujaha, Yanti brahma sanatanam, Nayam lokostya yajnasya, Kutonyak kuru sattama. So it says Kuru Sattama, Hey Kuru Sreshth, Hey Arjun. He's talking to you and to me, okay? We are not some wayward people. We are educated people. There are people who are qualified, people holding doctorates and qualified people who have lived disciplined lives, who have lived responsible lives, who have taken care, who have gone through strains and stresses in life and have not called it quits today, even today. And the life has led you to Atma Vichara. You are not due to abandon all this. So you are all accomplished. So Kuru Saptama, the teacher is addressing all of you. Hey, why don't you close the door, Ma? So Kuru Sattama is addressing you. Oh Sreshta Purusha, Kuru Sreshta. Now, Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhuja. Now, when you live your life in a disciplined manner, okay, Yajna Srishta Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhuja. When you live your life in a disciplined manner, the outcome of life of discipline, outcome of a life of service, selfless service, makes you fit for Atma Vidya. What is Atma? I look up at Atma Vidya. Okay, doesn't mean it comes from there. Atma Vidya quite simply means an emotionally, absolutely emotionally independent being. One who is alive to realities, reality of Aham Brahmasmi, I am a conscious being, I am not even a human being. This human being functions through a human body, therefore I become a person. Atma, reflection in a person. It's the Atma's reflection, so the person's conduct has to be in keeping with Atma. What is Atma? Aham Akhanda Ananda Swarupaha. I am of the nature of wholeness, fullness. When I'm talking about Yajna Sishta Bhujaha, the entire process of living a life of discipline gives me wholesomeness in life. I become a wholesome person, together person. This is my Guruji's expression. Together, wholesome person. I am complete being, lacking nothing. I radiate Ananda because that is my Swarupa. It radiates through the Vastra that I wear. I radiate Ananda. I radiate compassion. I radiate Shama. I don't want to use the word compassion. Shama, Ahimsa, Arjavam, Sthiryam, Atma Vinigra. It just flows out of me. Okay? Yajna Sishta Amrita, Sanatana. Sanatana means I understand Sanatana is that which is, which has always been. The Ananda Swarupa did not come yesterday. This is my nature. I am that. I have mistaken myself to be something else by identifying with all the objects, which are anyway not anatma. They are all anatma. By identifying the anatma, I become anatma. So, Sanatanam, Brahma Yanti. Brahma Yanti means this moksha becomes clear to me. I reach moksha as though reaching, my nature becomes clear to me. The cognitive process starts working. I'm able to understand Shravana Manam Nididhyasana. This is what the teacher means. I'm able to do Manana. I'm able to live that life. Nididhyasana. I'm able to live that life. The teacher gives another thing small here, which we'll mention and then we'll go to the next class. It is Ayagyasya, one who does not have discipline, one who does not lead life the way it should be left. Ayam lokaha na asti. You can't be happy here, man, let alone talking about going elsewhere. It talks about the majority, or I won't even call majority, a very large number of people who are mindlessly pursuing artha kama. हमको यही होना है. My God. This is how I want to live. Fleeting pleasures are never denied. Because the object is Priyam. The beauty of the entire Srishti is Asthi Bhati Priyam Rupam Namachet Ansha Panchakam. They say, there are 5 aspects of any object. It has got Nama, Rupa, and Priyam. It has got a name, it has got a form, it is pleasurable for somebody, including drug, whatever. It gives some pleasure to somebody. The fellow even markets, the fellow even who sniffs it for a short while, gets some. There is a fleeting pleasure. Always. Anything has mishra, sukha, dukkha, mishra tattvam. There is a fleeting pleasure. But what is the outcome of the pleasure? Pressure. Pleasure turns to pressure. You must have more and more addiction, and it destroys. Go back to the earlier one of the chapters which we studied. Dhyayate vishayans pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. So, for a person who does not lead a disciplined life, maybe he'll have a lot of things, he'll have a lot of wealth, he can post with all the people and publish calendars, but will essentially run away from the country and goes live elsewhere, like a refugee. He goes to attend a match and people say, Chor hai. And what can he do? That's what he can do worst. I am loke nasti. This loka is lost for you. The world which you find yourself now, अरे यहाँ तुम्हारा ठीक नहीं है, क्या बात करते हो दूसरे लोग का? What Swargaloka you? When Swargaloka, you'll go with the same mindset. If there's something called, if you go there also you will go for same mindset. You do this, you will get that benefit. It says for a person, ayagyasya, for a person who does not live a life of discipline, condemns himself. No, nobody else has to. And you blame Bhagwan ne nahi kiya, it is my karma, I am suffering. You are suffering because you have lived an indisciplined life. He has never made it in life. Why didn't you make it in life? Somewhere there is some problem. You have never addressed. Oh, in India we have this. We can say, all the grahas are against me. We have got one more set of 9 planets to pay. Nobody support. My grandparents did not support. My father did not support. He didn't support me financially. A married fellow with child, they want support from father. Something wrong. Ayagyasya iha loka nasti. He loka. I am loka nasti. Anya kutaha. Where else will you find happiness? You migrate from India, go live in Iceland. It will still be a heartland for you. Something you will miss. Okay. So I will just read the next one and then we'll see it next week. Evam bahuvida yajna. Evam bahuvida yajna. Vitata brahmano mukhe. Vitata brahmano mukhe. Karmajan vidditan sarvan. Karmajan vidditan sarvan. Evam nyatva vimokshase. So all the yagyas that I have indicated below, they are not my creation. They were not revealed to me alone. It is there in the Vedas, and one who knows how to invoke them can understand it. It is not which I have to understand. God made me a Thekedar, told me to tell you. No, nothing like that. It is not a belief system. The practices must have come down. That is not a belief system. You can refer. It's all there for you to refer. If you don't agree, tell me I don't agree and I can't relate. Okay. Brahmana. Brahmana here does not mean that Jati Brahmana, Varna Brahmana. Brahmana here stands for the Vedas. It is been revealed by the Vedas. Brahmana Mukhe. And how do the Vedas reveal themselves? The books can't speak for themselves. It speaks through the people who have done Swadhyaya and Jnana Yajna, who have studied themselves and thought. That's how it reveals them. It reveals itself. Karmajan, one who know how to relate to it. Karmajan is not just empty talk. Harry, you should do this, you should do this, you should. I understand your difficulty here. I accommodate you. I have Shama. This is how your Sharira Dharma doesn't allow you to do it. Therefore, do it this way. Smriti comes in. Karmajan, okay? Listen to it from the Brahmana. And Tans are one who knows how to relate to it. Jnatva, having known, Vimoksha say, you are free. You get the moksha. You understand that you are anyway free. Your identification with the roles fold back and relate to the green room personality, relate to the absolute being that you are. Absolute reality functioning through transactional reality. This is the reality to which all of us have to be alive, can be alive. Brahmana Mukhe. We will look at the other verses in our next few sessions. Hopefully, in the next few sessions, we'll be able to complete study of chapter 4. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samastha sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalinim desho yam shobharahitah brahmana santu nirbhaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai Swami Dayananda Maharaj ki Jai Pavan Putra Hanuman ki Jai Ho Bajrang Bali ki Jai Ho Jai Ho. May you all have a good week. Reflect. Shravan we are doing now. Do Manan. Do Nidhyasan. People who have the time can join me for the early morning meditation, 6:30, from Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. We call it a Manan session, where we reflect and try to own up what we have studied, not compulsory. May Ishvara be in your life. May all this work for you. Om.